My husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him. And what do you know? Now we're getting divorced.
Okay, when I first saw this video, I was like, wow, valid divorce.
People are blaming her. People are saying that you stayed in the marriage for 10 years knowing that your husband did not like your son. Why are you even prioritizing your son over your husband? You guys remember the story time we just did? Now people are reacting to the story time. People are blaming this woman. The story time of this woman that checked her husband's phone and realized her husband was cheating on her, and she decided to divorce the man. So you guys, people are blaming her, and I'm like, why are they blaming her? You guys, let me show you guys some reaction videos, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
My husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him. And what do you know? Now we're getting divorced.
Okay, when I first saw this video, I was like, wow, valid divorce. If you don't love or even like a parent's child, yeah, you probably shouldn't be together. So she has me in the first half, right? She starts getting into how he's saying that he's always resented her son because she always puts her son before him, even though they've been married for 10 years and he's been involved since the child was 1. But then she says this.
But my son is not my soon-to-be ex-husband's child. Now, if he were his child, that would be a different story.
I'm sorry, what? Because now I have to do a 180, because why would the dynamics be different if he was the biological father? First of all, I feel like that's insulting to adoptive parents. But second, yeah, I'm starting to see where his resentment is coming from, because you're essentially telling him that you would respect him more if he was your ex. Like, as a stepmom, I could not imagine going up to my husband and saying, hey, I'm starting to feel a little neglected, like I'm always second fiddle to your son. And him saying, well, I would invest more in you if you were his real mom. Like, that would be such a slap in the face, but it actually gets worse when she tries to explain herself.
Let's clarify something, because I did say in one of my previous videos that if my soon-to-be ex-husband was the father of my child, it would be different. And two parents, who are the parents of the children of the family, work together in unity as a family unit. You have mother and father running the household and all of the children underneath. Now, I believe it sets an example of authority, respect, love, and care when a mother and a father work together in unity. They are above head of household and the children are everywhere below. But that is not the case. My baby daddy and I are not together. He brought another woman into my son's life, and I chose to bring another man into my son's life. My ex brought another woman into the relationship, and so now the son becomes the priority over that other person.
And there it is. It sounds like she just wanted to be with her ex, is mad that he chose another woman over her, and has spent the last 10 years punishing her soon-to-be ex-husband for it. I'm wondering if she ever liked her husband, or if he was always just a means to an end, like one of those race to the altar type things. And like I said, I was on her side at first, but then she kept making video after video about how she will never regret putting her son first, because her husband is a grown-ass man and his happiness isn't her responsibility. And some of that is true, but husbands aren't asking you to mother them, they're just asking you to care. Of course your child needs you, but the whole idea of marriage is that once your child is grown and independent and doesn't need you anymore, that you and your husband will still be there for each other to take care of each other, and it feels like throughout this whole marriage, preparing for that was never a priority for you. Unless he was your ex, I guess. There are plenty of us who work full-time, have hobbies, are hands-on mothers, and still care about our husbands. But because you can't or don't want to do this, I think this divorce is a brilliant idea for both of you. But let's be honest, this divorce is not all his fault. Anyway, I wish you all of the happiness and success for both of you moving forward.
So my husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him. And what do you know? Now we're getting divorced. This is a conversation that we had on December 1st, our 10-year anniversary, because it's a direct reflection of how a man and a wife should be, and it should be a good example.
You shouldn't have married him. And I might catch a lot of heat for this, but it's not because he's the problem. Just think about it, because what you said was that if he was your son's biological father, that you would be putting him first. But that's not the case. He's not his biological father. And even though he was there from almost the start, your son was 1 year old. That man lived 10 years in that household as a guest. He was never accepted as father or as husband. He was continuously reminded in all of the little things and all of the big things that you would choose your son over him in every single case. And not only would you silently just do what you thought what was best, you would throw it in his face, just like you are here, because your husband opened up, he was vulnerable, and he said that he had resentment towards a child. Like, he knows that's not right, but something caused it. And I would argue that it's not anything wrong within him. I would argue it is because of the dynamic of the relationship that you are a part of. And that's something that you need to be part of to fix, but you are obviously not, because you are blaming him and you are setting it up for him to fix his issue. Am I right, guys? Like, this is a very valid valid fear and valid reasoning as to why a man is not going to want to date a single mom.
This is why I tell baby mamas you can't get married until your kid is 18.
So my husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him and love anything else. And
This is why I tell baby mamas you can't get married until your kid is 18. This is the reason why I say this. No man is truly going to fully love a child that's not theirs. And she's upset. You could tell that she puts her son over her husband. And her husband's fed up. And I guarantee that that little child is not as much as an angel as she's saying when she's around just a husband. That's all it is. See, this is why I tell you, baby mamas, your opportunity to get married has to wait. It's over. Wait till your kid is old enough and they leave the house, then you can have your own personal life. It's hard for you as a baby mama to put your husband over the kid that you had before you got your new husband. And then you're forcing these men to love your child as if that child is theirs, but they can't. They don't want to. Men want to be number one, and they have to be number one. But you're choosing your son from another situation over him when he chose and picked you to be his wife. That's all it is. And she's upset because she's not getting her way. She wants him to love this child so much, but he doesn't. And I love that he's so honest about it. More men need to be honest, and more men need to start telling these women, hey, I don't want to date you because you have a child. That's just not what I want.
so my husband told me that he doesn't love his stepson and that most of the time he doesn't even like him. And what do you know? Now we're getting divorced. This is a conversation that we had on December 1st, our 10-year anniversary, when he told me that he really doesn't like my son and that he resents him for the fact that I put him first and that my son is a priority to me above anything else. And you know what? That's okay because that's never going to change. So on December 1st, when we had that conversation, that's when I knew I was done. Okay, that's when I knew I was finished. I'm like, I'm so gone. Like, you don't love this child that you have raised kind of for 10 years, this kid that you've seen grow up, this kid that is a direct reflection of me, because I would choose to put my husband first because it's a direct reflection of how a man and a wife should be.
There it is. Usually if you let a person keep talking long enough and they're venting and they're in their emotions, they'll say some stuff that you start out understanding, and then afterwards you're like, ooh, I was on your side much more before you continue talking, which doesn't make sense because I feel like that's a reflection of what a husband and wife should be. You married him, that's your husband. But it's not my child's biological father, because if it was, then I would put him first. Well, your child doesn't have an active biological father around. This is the best thing that you got, so you should probably prioritize that a little bit more. That dude doesn't have an issue with the child per se. He's not like, oh, your son's a jerk and I'm sick of it. Otherwise, she would have said that. It is that he has to, and has had to, for years, watch himself be placed on the back burner while you and your son are a little team, and then he just finances you raising your son and pays for all that. And then you bring him in whenever you feel like a man should be involved in this, and then that's it. Some of you are obsessed with your kids, like obsessed with them. And this is why men don't want to do this stepfather shit. It's not about raising necessarily another man's kid. For some men, yes. But there are men that, didn't have fathers, and they see this kid and they're like, oh, I could teach him a lot. I remember what it was like to not have a father and stuff. It's not so much taking the child under his wing that's an issue, or guiding him or showing him like, hey, you like this girl, this is how you handle that. Like, most men don't really have an issue with that. It is what they know they are signing up for. And that is, for 18, 19, 23 years, you will play second. And I just want you to be happy with that. And you just get like pretty much leftover me. But I will pour everything into raising this boy. Kids are not that hard to raise. I'm sorry. I know that we have to think that like, oh, these kids it's so difficult. It's not. It can be from time to time, but it doesn't just stay difficult. It's been difficult for 10 years. It doesn't. In the beginning, it's harder. As they grow up, though, shit becomes easier. Now, I don't like saying this much on social media because it's no one's really their business, but I have to because the comment section is going to ask, well, I have a 13-year-old daughter that's going on 16. Where's her mother? I don't know. You tell me. If you find her, let me know. It's not like I care anyways. And the mistake that you'll end up making is assuming that they're just going to, like, this is going to be your bestie forever. Like, you and your son or you and your, daughter are just going to hang out forever. No, as they get older, a lot of you don't understand this because if this is your first kid and they're like 4, 5, 6, or 7, God. 6, 7. They are more close to you. They don't really have a life. They don't really have any form of independence. They're gaining some, but as they get older, they pull away more. It's nothing personal. They're just establishing their own life and their own identity with their own friends. And they got their own little phone, and they're playing games on there and FaceTiming, and they don't even be saying shit to each other. They just be FaceTiming and doing art and shit. And then they like boys or girls, and my daughter's like, oh my God, he touched my hand. I'm like, that's cool. Just, you know what I mean? Don't get used to that shit. Do you think I'm struggling? Do you think like, oh my God, I'm beating my head against the wall and shit? No, I'm essentially, and every man that has a daughter has to understand this, whether you like it or not. You're essentially raising her to go marry some dude. So they ain't gonna be here forever. That man was supposed to be, though. And then so y'all will willingly sacrifice that in the name of love for this kid. And it doesn't mean that if you just put a little bit more effort into your marriage that you love your son less. The lens in which you spin this fucking logic is so weird. Like a lot of you just rationalize shitty treatment towards your partner in the name of whatever you can come up with. And that sounds virtuous. It's like, no, I'm raising my son. And it's like, okay, did you ever really bring him into that, like a family? Or was it just you and your son and he's just right here for 10 years? Can you believe that he has some sort of resentment towards my son? Yeah, it's probably because of you. It's this unhealthy, emotional obsession over these children. And when all this smoke clears, your little son is going to be off with some girl doing their thing. They may have moved in together. They're engaged. And where are you? By yourself with no man around, annoying the shit out of your son. And that's something you mothers got to realize too, because later in life, when your son has a girlfriend and they move in together, she the woman of the house. That ain't your house. You are no longer part of the immediate family. I mean, you family, don't get me wrong, but you just on the outer part of the circle now. He building his own family. And that's where, like, you were supposed to take care of your relationship with your husband, but instead you're getting a divorce. And then we're going to wait for a new man to come along and be okay with that silver medal you're trying to place around his neck that the last man wasn't. So you had 10 years to recognize that he had a problem with it. And then you just like, can you believe he said this? I had no clue for 10 years. I'm sure you didn't notice that he was pulling away from your son. You didn't care because it's just you and your son. It's crazy. So we're going to divorce and then go play around in bars and clubs for a couple years. And then, well, during the teenage years, like very vital years of this boy's life, he will have no father figure. So that's cool. Let's just cripple him. All because you couldn't prioritize a man a little bit more that you married, by the way. As usual, you let someone talk long enough and they'll put a foot in their own mouth.
People blaming her again for putting her son over her husband. And I'm like, what should she put first? And people are saying, no, maybe you already put him first, and that is why he's feeling a kind of way. He has endured for a long time. Like, are these people okay? This man practically saw this baby grow from when he was a year old. He saw him grow to 10 or 11 years now, and came all of a sudden and said he doesn't like the child. He's not comfortable with the child. He can never love the child like a father. And people are blaming the woman for him saying that. What kind of man is that? You saw this, you practically grew with this child, and all of a sudden you're saying you don't like. Definitely you never liked him from year one, and you never told her. You got married to a single mother. You know that she's a single mother. You know that she has a child. If you know that you will never like the child as your own, why did you marry a single mother? So he was pretending all these years that he was interested in the child, until later he's like, I stop pretending. Let me just tell her how I feel. And you people are blaming the woman. They don't get it. People saying that you guys were sleeping in separate rooms for 2 months. You were already practically roommates. What do you expect your husband to do? He's supposed to go out there and look for young flesh to sleep with. And I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Both of you, they're both married, right? There was issue in the house and they decided to stay separately. One person decided to go out to kind of be looking for girls to sleep with. The other one is still there. She did not go out to look for me. It's not like she cannot. She's so pretty. She's very beautiful. It's not like she cannot get someone to sleep with her immediately. But she did not, because she feels like she's still married and they were just having issues. Or in her head, she wants to divorce, but she already gave him something to do and all of that. She did not still go out there. is the one that went out there, and people are blaming her that, hey, why did both of you leave? Why are you living in the same house and staying in different rooms? If you're having an issue with your wife, you're a married man, or you guys are married, you're having issues to the extent that both of you are staying separately in the same house, if you want to go out there, make it clear that you're no longer interested in that relationship. You want to go out there, or you want to open the relationship, make it clear. It's not like you go and start hiding, because you guys are fighting. To me, it doesn't make sense, and I don't know why they are blaming her for it. Feeling the man was already done with her. It was done. He's tired because he's 33. I feel like they've been married for the past 10 years. Definitely got married at 23 years old. So they're tired. Both of them are both tired of each other, and it is what it is. Anyways, guys, what's your take on this? People's reaction? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Do you think she's at fault? Do you think she has a little fault in the whole thing? Or do you think there's nothing wrong with what she's for her filing divorce? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, Sugar Mary Davis, and thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next one, guys. Bye.